there, toy people. Welcome back to another toyetic challenge. Today we are going to find out if Booksy stands up to the 4 toyetic principles to be this season's hot toy. If you don't know what the word toyetic means, don't worry, because we're going to be explaining it as we unbox the Booksy Monsters. What are these little guys? I'm so excited to share with you guys. Looking at these 2 monsters that we have right here, I feel like you already know what's going to happen with this one, but let's open it up and have a little fun anyway. Let's dive into our Booksy character. So, Monster Tales, Booksy. So Booksy's obviously going to expand their line beyond monsters, but I do think monsters was a smart place to start out. So Booksies are little monsters. When you open them up inside, they actually have little book surprises. So let's peel off this sticker. So let's open. Now the magic of Booksy is they're really cute little monsters, but when you open them up, they've got a surprise inside. So opening up our Booksy. Oh, she had tape on her back. Really secure packaging. And inside of our Booksy that we opened up, we see Maud's Miracle. Monster Tales Maud's Miracle. And it's a tiny little book with tiny little writing telling us all about Maud the monster, Maud's Miracle. It says, it had been a cloudy for days in Boogie Boo Town, and her friends were all grumpy and feeling down. Maud desperately wanted to brighten their mood, but as an artist, just what could she really do? She looked at her canvas, blank and uninviting, and flashed an idea hit her like lightning. Instead of painting a portrait, she would try to paint the entire blue sky. No need to wait for the weather to shift, she'd brighten the mood with her artistic gift. So she gathered paint and brushes and ladders galore, then squeezed her way through her tiny front door. As Maud set her paint in the Boogie Town square, her friends gathered around and began to stare. Maud started with the clouds once drab and gray and transformed them into a rainbow display. Next, she painted the air with glitter and glitz, spraying out sparkles and shimmery bits. The darkness is gone thanks to our friend Maud, the monsters cheered as they oohed and awed. Inspired by their toothy grins agape, Maud decided to paint the entire landscape. She painted trees and grass and buildings too, and even all the creatures in the Boogie Boo Zoo. And just as the paint began to dry, she heard an ominous rumble from the sky, then a plip and a plop as rain started to fall, and the sky erupted into a wet, windy squall. Maud watched distressed as her art washed away and flowered downhill into Big Beastly Bay. I'm sorry, friend, she said with a sigh. I tried my best, but I can't control the sky. But Maud's surprise, the monsters weren't sad. In fact, they were smiling and still quite glad. Your art was nice, they said in gratitude, but it was your outlook that changed our attitude. The world can be happy or dreary and blue, and it all just depends on your point of view. Then, like magic, the rain was done, and through the clouds out came the sun. Monster Tales, super cute. So the goal of Monster Tales is to encourage kids to read more. We just learned a lot about Maud and connected with her and her story. I definitely feel more connected to Maud and her story knowing that she's an artist, and now she's my little artist friend that's gonna sit on my desk and inspire me to have a more positive outlook on life and maybe to paint. So this goes into distinct character personalities. I gotta tell you now, this hits it out of the park. These characters are very well thought out and explained by the books inside of them. The characters drawn in the books look just like the character that I'm holding in my hands here, which just makes the distinct character personality connection even stronger. Also inside of Maud's body, we found this collectible sheet calling out the other monsters that there are to collect. Now that I've learned that they're all from Boogie Boo land or world, I definitely am drawn to collect the other monsters and learn about them, like Squidoo, like I have here, Squidoo. So let's move on to our next toyetic principle, scalability by theme. So scalability by theme, like I said, it's not just about changing the color or the theme. Now, scalability by theme. Now, we've talked about scalability by theme before, and sometimes toy companies can scale by just changing the colorway or changing the characters. But scaling by theme is where your toy truly has the ability to become an evergreen hit. What I can already see with Booksy is that they've called it Booksy Monster Tales. And what having this subtitle Monster Tales and the main name of the brand be Booksy tells me is that they're going to expand beyond Monster Tales, and maybe they'll do, I keep talking in this term, but pastry tales. Maybe they'll do personified pastry characters that all come from the land of cake, and then they all share their different stories about creating art in the land of cake and poetry in the land of cake. They can go into all different themes with this Booksy brand, having stories inside of characters that tell the stories to connect you to the characters further and learn more about their personalities. And it has a great collectible nature because, of course, now I want to collect all of the friends in Squidoo and Maud's world so I can keep them on my desk. Now, one of the things that also made me fall in love with this brand at a toy show is that the books themselves, once you start collecting them, you might say, oh, what do I do? Now I have all of these cute little books and I don't want to keep them inside my monsters because I want to be able to look at the books and look at my monsters. So what do I do? Well, they actually have this really great bookshelf. It's like a monster character bookshelf where you can store all of your books as you collect them. It's so cute, and I'm just like blown away with how well written these stories are, how well developed the characters are, and how thoughtful they were in creating a bookshelf so you have a place to display all your little mini monster books. It's just genius. I love that. Well thought out. Let's move on to character-specific accessories. Character-specific accessories are a piece that is separate from the main toy itself that allows the kid to really dive deeper into the character's world. Does the Monster Tales Booksy line have character-specific accessories? I would venture to say yes, in the form of Maud's Miracle Mini book and Squidoo's Bubbles book. These are their accessories. This is the piece that you get to engage with that helps you learn more and get more connected with your character. And also, look, his little hands move. They're little articulated figurines. And their little articulated figurines. I love that additional play pattern piece. They didn't have to do that, but adding that just makes them feel even more human. The last toyetic principle we've got to look at is surprise conflict. So, the last toyetic principle we have to look at is surprise or conflict. Does this toy have surprise elements? Well, of course. We've got the surprise of finding the book inside, and even as you collect more and more of these toys and you already know there's going to be a book, you don't actually know the character's personality until you read about it in the book. So there definitely is a surprise element there. Not only that, but kids can create their own surprise with these toys. If you have the bookshelf, you can store all of your books on the external Booksy bookshelf. And then their bodies are kind of free for you as a kid to store any notes that you might want to send to your friends inside of them, or store any little treasures you might have inside of them. So I do think this definitely hits I do think that this definitely has a surprise element to it. But enough about what I think. I'm so curious if Booksy has any reviews on Amazon just yet, since this is a newer toy on the market. So if anyone has already bought a Booksy, let's go check out and see what they think of this cute little toy. So here we are on Amazon checking out this Booksy toy. So the only thing we could find for Booksy was actually the mini monster bookshelf that I talked about earlier. So the PMI Kids World is the company that is behind Booksy. PMI Kids World is the company that is behind Booksy Monster Tales. This is the collector display set, and it actually comes with one of the characters, Bloof and the Beast. So not only will kids get the bookshelf, but they'll get the bookshelf plus Bloof, which I'm sure will just start their entire adventure wanting to collect all of the books from all of the monsters. Now, what's in the box of this purchase is the one monster bookshelf, the exclusive Booksy Monster Tales figure, and the Monster Tales mini book. And all of that you get for just $29.99. I think that's a fantastic price. And I do have to say, this image is accurate in sizing. That bookshelf, that monster bookshelf, is pretty big. It looks just like that. It's a great piece for your kid's room, not to mention all the little monsters that they'll put around it that will go along with this book. Now, we don't have any reviews for the Booksy Monster Tales yet, so we'll just dive into my review and my thoughts on if they've met all of the toyetic principles. So, Booksy Monster Tales. I gotta say, I loved this from the moment I saw it. Then I spoke to who I believe was the creator or one of the creators behind the brand, and they told me that they created this because they wanted to help kids read more. They wanted to make reading more fun. Not only is reading fun because you have this discovery moment of finding the book inside of a cute character that you like, but once you start reading the book, it's not just an ordinary book, it's a rhyme. I used to love my children's rhyming books when I was little, so I could see myself just devouring these, of course, in minutes, and wanting to get the next character to collect the next book. So I think it's a brilliant idea. It's a fun way to combine toys and reading and education in such a fun way. So I really love it. Let's take a look at how they did on our Toyetic Principles scorecard. So first up, distinct character personalities. Does Booksy have distinct character personalities? Yes, 150% yes. Booksy does a great job of illustrating different monster characteristics, looks, and personalities, not only in the collectibles themselves, but also in the books. I did not expect that this little monster, who was my favorite before I knew she was an artist, I didn't expect that she was gonna be an artist and have such a lovely story about trying to paint the whole world just to make her friends happy, and how she has such a positive outlook on life. They really did a lot of work to develop these characters, not just in how they look, but in what they do and who they are in their stories in the big boo world. So it's great. Next up, scalability by theme. We haven't seen it yet, but I do feel there is plenty of room for Booksy to expand beyond just monster tales, but into some other tales. They could do puppy tales, cat tales, pastry tales, like I said earlier. There is a lot of opportunity for the Booksy brand to expand beyond just the monster tales. I am curious in looking at how big the bookshelf kit that they have is, if they already have plans to just keep doing more and more monsters so a kid really can fill up that bookshelf with all monster characters, or if they're already thinking, no, we're gonna, after 6 characters, go into a totally different theme. Curious to see where they go with that. So yes, scalability by theme, check. Booksy has it. So the next toyetic principle, character-specific accessories. Does Booksy have something that we can play with outside of the character itself? Yes, 100%, the book. The book has plenty of entertainment in the rhyming story, and then we can place the book back inside the body of the character if we want. And further, each character does come with a stand. We know how difficult that was for me to open, but each character does come with a stand that you can reuse as long as you don't take a hammer to it when you're opening it, but they do come with a stand so you can reuse and store your Booksy just like this. So yeah, character-specific accessories, Booksy has them. We didn't even talk about the bookshelf, but the bookshelf is another character-specific accessory that you can get to add on to the play with this toy. So yes, check character-specific accessories. Our last toyetic principle for these Booksies is surprise. Does Booksy have a fun surprise or conflict element to it? And I gotta say, yeah, 100%. The book itself is the surprise. Not only is it a surprise when you open up the Booksy, but it's a surprise when you learn about the character. The character who you might have just picked out because you like their color, you like their face, you thought they were silly or interesting like I did with Maud. But once you read their book, you truly learn about that character and figure out why you might have been attracted to them in the first place. That is just such a fun way to deepen your connection with the specific character that you pick out or that your child picks out. So my final verdict, Booksy gets 4 out of 4 toyetic principles. Oh, we've got to give a round of applause for the Booksy. This is definitely something I think you should put on your Christmas shopping list. I love it. I think I might have to buy more so I can give some to my nieces because I opened these already. But Booksy is a must-have this holiday season. If you got your hands on a Booksy, I want to know what you thought of it. So please let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for being here with me today. I know things are hectic this time of year, so I appreciate you taking the time to sit with me and watch these reviews. Until our next toy challenge review, I'll see you later, toy person. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for sticking around for the end of this video. If you're ready to make it toyetic, check the link in the description below for all of the merch associated with this channel. You can rock this t-shirt and so much more.